Hey, what's going on, guys? MangoSet here, bringing you another Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about Nightfalls, Psionic Battlegrounds, Grandmaster Nightfalls, Psionic Battlegrounds Legendary Mode. We're going to be talking about setting up your gear for that. We're going to be getting you ready for that. Going into strikes, Nightfalls, the Grandmaster Nightfalls, all that stuff. Getting you all set up for that so that you don't have to change around gear constantly, moving things around, even no matter what the burn is, right? Because the burn is usually the thing that's just like, oh man, I have to change my element, I gotta change everything. If you like the information, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at our character. Now when we look at our character, we're gonna see some general things here. Today I have the pulse rifle set up and I have the bow set up for my character. Now going into the Nightfalls, you'll see that the bow is for anti-barriers, and you can see that the pulse rifle is for the unstoppable champions. But why is that? If it was up to me, I like having my hand cannon for the unstoppables, and I like having a special weapon for anything else, anti-barrier, whatever that may be. But consistently Bungie has pushed us into using double primaries. Now what's the big swing here? What is the big changer of all of it? And it's our heavy weapon. Our heavy weapon is going to be the flex. It's going to be the thing that changes everything, the clutch move. Like when you're under pressure and you need to put something down, you got the elemental to match the burn, you're going to be pulling out your heavy. That way you can get in there, destroy, loose, and hive with little to no effort. Now for my build for the Nightfalls, I like using a variety of different machine guns. That's Void, that's Arc, that's Solar. I got the Avalanche for Solar. I got the Fire Memorial for Arc. And the Stasis one isn't too bad either, the one that's Cabal themed. Now going into a Nightfall or a Grandmaster Nightfall, whatever that may be, but all the things that I said above, you want to be able to basically carry the team. I know that's a lot of weight on your shoulders for carrying a group of blueberries, but going into match-made activities, you got to be able to handle your own. You don't know what the other person has unless you check their loadout, but are you going to be doing that every single time? Not exactly. Now the only thing that we can best control is our own gear. Now looking over our gear, we have some three main things. Just to give you a general sense of things, we're going to put some specific mods in on the helmet since Bungie made this recent update with the harmonic siphon. That's going to be able to get you orbs of light instead of masterworking your weapon because they took that away from us. Now we want a well maker. We're going to be leaning into wells. You may understand wells a little bit more as I go through this. Now we're going to be doing seeking wells on the arms, right? So I'm going to be sticking to an arc, to the 2 arc, 2 stasis, 1 flex, right? Solar, void, arc, stasis, whichever you need for that. But I'm going to stick to 2 arc, 2 stasis, 1 solar in this example. Now the Aeon Swift is a godsend for strikes, Nightfalls, Grandmasters, any of that activities that's going to have champions in it at all, because it has the 3 slots that gives you bonus benefits when you finish a champion. Now going into one of the Grandmaster Nightfalls or going into a Nightfall in general, it's going to take a little bit of preparation. You want a whole gear set dedicated to it, and the best gear set for you is going to be the Tusk, the Tusk armor that you get from the seasonal track, because it's easy to upgrade. You get it in plentiful. When you get more and more of it, you don't take upgrade modules. Now if you have the Twisted Echo set from the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, that's going to be your best bet. That's going to be the perfect armor set that you need for all that stuff, because it has that extra slot at the end to put in more mods, right? You still get 10 energy, but you get more mods. Now for this Grandmaster that I did here, it's the Light Bearer, the Light Shard, I don't know what it's called, but it's the one for Savathun's Throne World. The burn here is actually Arc, but why is that? What does that mean for you? If I was a Warlock, if I was a Titan, I'd be using Arc, but Hunter and a Nightfall with Arc, get out of here. Now for the leg pieces, you're going to want to focus on Scavenger, and like I said, I went stasis with those, and that's going to be picking up an orb of light, grants a small amount of energy to my lowest charged ability. Now I'm using stasis here for the example, but the legs and the cloak or the Titan mark or the bond, whatever, that is the optional flex item as well. So if it's for strikes, you change the mark. If it's for nightfalls, you change the mark. If it's for whatever, you change the mark, and you fit whatever that can be. Arc for strength, solar for grenades, and void for protection. Now, protective light got a little bit of a nerf, so if you can't really hold your own and you need protective light, you need to go into some software content. I'm sad to say that, but you need to go into some software content and get more comfortable with your character, because the name of the game is kind of like Elden Ring. You're not supposed to get hit like that. You're gonna get hit in this game, but you're not supposed to get hit like that. If you die a few times, that's fine, but going into Grandmaster content where you have revives that are, you know, token based, you don't really want to go into dying a lot. So get your build together. You want to at least a 60, over a 60 resilience, at least, so you can take a few hits. Now, protective light will give you a little bit of boost. I'm not knocking that, but again, I digress. So getting back into the build, going back into our flex item, let's say we put on protective light, right? We're gonna need something to charge us with light. Now, say we're gonna be focused on creating wells. So you need a starter, such as a melee well maker or a grenade well maker. The weapon well maker is kind of trash, so you want to focus on either the melee or the grenade one. You're gonna have those in plenty, right? But for the hunter specifically, I like doing the grenade well maker. Now, I don't want these wells to elude me, so I put on seeking wells. I want them to come straight to me with little to no effort. That was the problem with wells before, is that they didn't gather to you like stasis shards did. Now, if we use the elemental charge, that's going to give us 2 charges with 1 little well. Now, that's going to be good, because if we use protective light, we can use one of those charges. It's going to give us a little defensive bonus. We'll be all right. Now, if you wanted to amplify that, you can put on the mark, which is going to take up too much energy, but you can put on the defensive finisher, get a overshield when you finish enemies, give you a little bit of reprieve, or get on restorative finisher, give you a little bit of your health back when you're in those tougher engagements. Now, headpiece is arc, the Aeon Swift arc, the chest piece solar, the legs stasis, and the bond mark cloak, whatever, it's the flex piece. It's going to be a variety of different elements, and those are going to be able to strength, grenades, or protection. Now, me particularly, I like to go into the stasis one because it gives me a little bit of everything. So now what I want to get into is looking over my general mods, my well mods, the little specifics of the build that makes it work for any subclass: stasis, void, arc, solar, you name it. I have the seeking wells. I have the font of wisdom. Font of wisdom, once I get a well, it will put the font of wisdom on the screen for 30 seconds, put my intellect at a 10. So I don't really need to spec into intellect, because the wells are going to do that for me. So I can take the extra intellect that I have, the intellect specific general mods that I have on, and I can change them out to benefit me more. I don't need a high intellect stat. Now, if I'm going into PvP or something, that's where you need a high intellect stat, because you can't generate wells in there. You can generate orbs of light, but that's a whole nother conversation. Now, I could go into strength, but every time I do a dodge, I get my melee back. I don't really need that. I need more grenades. Like Lord Shack says, throw more grenades. And in this case, it proves to be quite beneficial, because it gives me the wells that lower the cooldown every time I get a well. It gives me the font of wisdom, which puts my intellect at a invisible 10, and it generates ability energy in my lowest charged ability. So if my grenade is on its lowest cooldown or what have you, it's going to give me that energy back. I don't need to spec into too much, because the wells are going to be generating that energy for me. Now, with having a quicker super cooldown, since I'm going to be sitting at max intellect anyway, there's no reason for me to overextend into that territory. I don't need to massively generate orbs, and I don't need to spec heavily into intellect. I let the whales do the things for me. Now, I can go right from here and jump right into a Nightfall. I can jump right into here and go from this place to a Psionic Battleground, and wouldn't have to change a thing unless it was to swap an unstoppable for a overload. But I have on the overload grenade for my class item anyway, so I have all the things covered. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was informative to you. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.